Hey there, thanks for logging on and joining us for a preview of the Stan and Neil Show. We're glad that you're here.
Oh, he's Stan, I'm Neil. Stan, what are we doing?
All right, we are doing the Stan and Neil Show, and it's going to be live on Twitch every Tuesday and Friday. Twitch gives us some great opportunity to interact with fans, and it's a great platform to do a live broadcast, and that's why we chose Twitch for the live show, because it allows you to interact with us. And if you subscribe to our Twitch feed, you get a whole host of benefits. Neil, tell them what those benefits are.
Dan, is it bad that I'm getting a Twitch from thinking about being on Twitch? Is that bad?
It's not good, but
well, this is good. This is good. This is what subscribers get. Custom emotes to use in chat. Somebody will explain what an emote is to me at some point.
Yeah.
Subscriber-only badges for your profile and access to exclusive Q&A sessions and polls. I mean, how can you not join?
Exactly. So we'll be doing live polls during the show. So we may have a particular question about whether a player should be traded, about who's a better player, about all sorts of different things. So we'll have some live polls. We'll also have top stories in sports. We'll update you on those stories and also give you our opinions on the top stories on every show. We'll have guests periodically from time to time, people who will bring their interesting perspectives on the stories that we're talking about, and just cool people who we know from our years in working in sports. We'll have some recurring segments, and we'll react to your questions or comments on the live show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We put this together because we've always enjoyed working together. We spent, what was it, Neil? It was
14 years.
14 years together at ESPN, 5 nights a week, doing SportsCenter. And so we just decided that this is a chance for us to connect directly with fans, with sports fans of all teams and all leagues and all sports, and just have some fun talking about sports. So again, the show will be live on Twitch on Tuesdays and Fridays. If you don't have a Twitch account and you prefer to watch it on YouTube or anywhere else you get your podcast, the show will also be there. So if you want to watch on YouTube, the show will be there every Tuesday and Friday. If you want to watch on any other podcast platform, it will also be there on Tuesdays and Fridays. But we'd love it if you join us for the live show on Twitch and subscribe to our Twitch feed.
And if you're wondering, Stan, I am actually working in my garage, and who doesn't want to have that on their resume? So I thought that was essential on why we got back together. And we're able to put a more palatable bow on our professional relationship. And I think it's going to be a neat chapter for you and I to have explored, and a chance to work with Jeff Anderson, a friend and a former producer out of Bristol. And plus, it's a chance for me to share my CD collection with all the viewers out there, because when the revolution happens, the CD revolution, I'll be ready, all you streamers.
I was going to ask you if those are actually CDs.
Oh yeah, this is not some fake thing.
So you still have a CD player, is what you're telling me?
I do. I have a couple of them, and I just bought a car and it didn't have a CD player, and I'm like, why would I buy this car without a CD player?
You can get a portable one and like put it in the front seat or in the back seat or wherever, you know.
Oh, don't think I haven't done that.
But be careful loading those CDs while you're driving. We'd hate to have,
two hands on the wheel at all times, kids.
Yeah, because that report would be terrible, that this man had an accident because he was loading a CD into his portable CD player on the front seat. We don't need that.
No, we don't.
All right. So, again, 14 years together at ESPN in Los Angeles. And, as we build this show from scratch, let's do a little story time.
Okay.
About when we first put the show together in LA and how that all came about. Do you remember the night at Roy's?
I do. Stan invited me to Roy's because Stan lived downtown. So we decided we were going to share a beverage. And because of my Hawaii connection, I said, Stan, have you ever had a longboard lager?
Yeah.
That longboard lager, that would be a good sponsorship right now if you're listening. Stan said he'd never had one. And by the time we got done talking about what we were going to do as a team in LA, Stan and I had many. We were both taking ride share, so that's important to remember. Yeah. And we drank old Roy's out of old longboard lagers. They've done run out.
Yeah, the server came over to us. He's like, guys, I know you really enjoy longboard, but you're gonna have to switch to something else because we're out of longboard. And so that night, we kind of came to some agreements with just like about how we wanted to do the show. And we were simpatico from the very beginning about that because we were like, hey, always take the work seriously, never take ourselves too seriously, and always do what's best for the team. It may be good for you and bad for the other guys. That's not what we're doing. It's going to be two guys working together, not one guy working individually along with another guy working individually. It's going to really be a team. And I think based on what I've gotten in terms of feedback from people, I think that's what they really enjoyed about our show together, that we had a certain chemistry that just, I don't think you can manufacture. It's just, I really like this guy and I really enjoy working with him. And I hope that came through the screen. I think it's going to come out even more as we do this.
It wasn't made up. It wasn't for show. It wasn't for entertainment purposes only. I always tell the story that if I were to be cuffed and taken down and had just one call to make, Stan would be the person I would call because one, he would pick up the phone, and two, he would come get me. Yeah. And I could count on both those things, which would be necessary at whatever hour that might happen. Not that that's going to happen, but it speaks to the love and the true feelings I have for Stan and for all those years we spent together. They were some of the best years, and we had some great people around us. But when Stan and I sat down on that set, we'd fist bump, and then I think we would knock it out of the park more often than not with you, the viewers. And that's why we received so much compliments for the job we did and so much encouragement for this adventure that we're gonna try and tackle here. And when Stan said we're starting from scratch, he wasn't kidding.
Right. It's funny. I'm sure you've had the same experience. I was on a golf trip with a bunch of buddies in Denver last year. And one of my buddies, he calls me, I'm up in my room just, relaxing after we played. And he says, hey, Stan, I'm down at the bar. Come have a beer with me. So I go down to the bar, and as soon as I sit down, he's like, you need a podcast. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you need a podcast. He was like, that's the future. And, you need a podcast. You have the ability to do it. And so you should just do it. And I said, okay, well, I don't want to do it by myself. So let me call Neil and see if Neil would be willing to do it. And then after I explained what a podcast was to Neil, he said he was on board, and I could not have been more thrilled. And then finally the time came where we said, okay, let's really do it. I'm sure you probably had similar experiences.
I remember the story, except I think at the end when you said, let's do a podcast, I said, no, let's not do a podcast. Everybody's doing a podcast. Let's do a show.
Okay.
And
right.
That's what we're doing. We're doing a showcast.
Okay.
And Jeff Anderson, our producer, suggested, hey, let's do a show on Twitch. And Twitch is the up and coming platform. It started as a gaming platform. Now it's an everybody platform, everybody who wants to be entertained and educated. And that's what we're going to bring every Tuesday and Friday, is some entertainment, some education, some opinions. Like Stan mentioned, the interactive portions of it. We're going to have exclusive content. You're going to be able to join our community, and you're going to be able to share in the love that we have for each other and that we have for bringing stories and opinions to you out there.
And obviously, starting when we are, there's going to be a heavy football component. We're both big football fans. Neil lives and dies with his Oregon Ducks. And before we go any further, number 7 in the country starting the season. How you feeling about him?
I'm feeling good, and I can't wait for the season to begin.
All right. I'm a big LSU fan. I'm a Howard alum, so the Bison are my first priority in terms of being an alum. But growing up in New Orleans, everybody's an LSU fan. So I grew up with the Tigers, and the New Orleans Saints are an enduring passion. I've been a Saints fan since I knew what football was. So, yeah, so there's going to be a lot of football talk, but we're going to cover all the big sports stories as they happen and share our opinions. And I'm really looking forward to it. I told Neil, I said, the show we did on the air for SportsCenter was obviously very highlight driven, and we had a chance to have some fun during that show with that format. But there was another show that didn't air that was the show we did while we're sitting in the newsroom. Now, because of how we approached the show, we sat next to each other every night from the time we got in, which is 5 or 6 o'clock, until it was time for us to go on the air at 9 or 10 o'clock. And so that show, if it had been recorded, I think would have been more entertaining than the show that we actually did on the air, because we were able to just kind of freewheel it a little bit more.
And hopefully we're able to recreate some of that magic, even though we're obviously in 2 different spots. You can tell by looking at your television. Stan's, got a penthouse apartment downtown, and I'm in my garage. which is kind of on brand for both of us. And another thing this is going to be, Stan, it's going to be a chance for us to put a more palatable bow on our professional relationship, because all good things must come to an end. And that's what happened. Me first, you second, at ESPN when they shut down the LA office. I think our fastball was still humming.
Yeah.
But sometimes the pitcher gets pulled when he's still got some innings left in him. And I believe that's kind of what happened to us. And you can categorize it in many ways. I like to think that big businesses make mistakes all the time. And in my opinion, that was one that was made, but we've learned to live with it and grow from it. And now we're going to build upon it. And I look back at it and couldn't be more thankful for all the time that we did have, not just our time together, but Stan and I both joined ESPN about the same time. I think it was about maybe 4 months apart. I think I'd been there about 4 months, and then Stan came in and he got 25 years and I got 23 years, which means he's got a little bigger pension than me, but that's all right. It was a wonderful experience, changed both our lives. I think I can speak for both of us in that way. And so nothing but good feelings about what ESPN did for us, and how we're now going to use that to jumpstart this project here.
Yeah, nothing that happens moving forward in my career would have been possible without the time that I spent at ESPN. It was a blast. I mean, obviously highlighted by the time that I spent with Neil in Los Angeles. And that turned out so well that Los Angeles became my home. And I decided I'm going to stay here for good. And so when ESPN planned to move the Lake SportsCenter back to Connecticut, it was something that just didn't work for me in terms of my life. And so, I've said that was a life decision. It wasn't a career decision. And so, I just decided that this was the right time. And so the other thing that went into that was the changing nature of the business. Now there is the opportunity to do this, which we're doing now, which just was not available due to the technology and due to other circumstances back when we started. So the total landscape has changed. I mean, we're doing a show that is literally able to be distributed worldwide, and I'm sitting in my condo and Neil's sitting in his garage. So I'm awed by the technology and the capabilities of that technology to help us do something like this. And, our biggest goal in this is just to have fun interacting with other sports fans, because in the final analysis, that's why I chose this career, is because I'm a fan. And, nothing really got me as excited in terms of a career prospect as being around sports. And so that's how I chose my career. And this is just a wonderful new chapter to continue that in a way that is very intimate, a way that's very interactive. And I get to do it with a dude that I love and respect. So it's a win-win. And our producer, Jeff Anderson, has such a grasp of new media technology that he's making this possible for us, because I don't know about you, Neil, but I would have had no idea how to do this technologically without Jeff's help.
I'm still lost. He just says, plug this in. I'm like, okay, where? No, he gave us a list and all that. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention too, we mentioned about what ESPN did for us professionally, but what it also did for us personally, all the friends that we made, co-workers, and not just people that were on the desk with us, the people behind the scenes. We made so many friends, and we hope that you are watching, because that would be a real sign of your continued friendship, and perhaps subscribe to our new venture here. But that's the biggest blessing, is the lifelong friendships that we made, and not to mention the career, and then some of the things that it's afforded us, like me being able to work out of my garage.
And some of those friends who you'll recognize from being on air at ESPN, we hope to have join us as the show progresses. A lot of them will, get to share some of their stories and their reactions to the big sports stories of the day. So we look forward to that too. But we're going to have a blast. That's our plan. Just have fun. We look forward to you joining us. Again, the live show will be on Twitch every Tuesday and every Friday. If you subscribe, you'll get updates as to when the show goes live, so you can join us and catch it from the very beginning. But if you can't join us live on Twitch, the show will be on YouTube. Every edition will be on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcast. So we hope that you'll join us live on Twitch, subscribe to the Twitch feed. But if you can't, then join us on YouTube or anywhere else you get your podcasts, and subscribe there as well. And you'll always have the inside track to the Stan and Neil Show. We'll see you guys on Tuesday the 9th for another Stan and Neil show.